I've gone through many iterations of what to write next. I'll make this one simple. Now that I've established, for the most part, who I am, it's time that I move on to the topic of where I'm going. But first, I need to establish some basic information. What do I want, and how will I acquire it? My experiences, some of which I transcribed in the Who I Am channel update, communicate a story of individual human development that left more questions than answers. It would be simple to say that I want answers to those questions, but perhaps that would be a bit childish of me. If I were to meditate for too long to find the answers for myself, I may idle away my life in calculation and still not find an answer. So, having calculated, in silence, alone, for as long as I can afford myself to do, I have established for myself, by enigma of a life, a multitude of suspicions that I shall attempt to address. These are the things I want, and the things I want to address. This is where I will establish where I'm going. I want to resolve human comprehension. My existence, my experiences, how humans perceived me and how I perceived their perceptions of me. I suspect that a majority of my conflicts and maladaptations resulted from miscommunication. While I believe that a massive majority of these miscommunications resulted from reckless and negligent human communication, I believe that a majority of these communications were done with non-hostile intent. In fact, it is my suspicion that a majority of these non-hostile communications were never even directed towards me, but some other destination unrelated to myself. It is my hope that an information can be established regarding routine measures and routine matters of communication. It is my intention to help humans establish clear communication when conversing and develop an awareness of the broadcasting effects that even direct communication can have in nature. And, if miscommunication occurs, a method of clearing up miscommunication can easily be established. I wish to build an empire of communication and entertainment, where empire, as imposing as it may sound, is merely the organization of a community under the control of communication officers. I haven't worked out the details as to how, but the intention is to create an organization that can assist in the development of communication routines and techniques for individual humans. As for entertainment, I like video games, and I would like to include them in spreading my suspicions regarding my thoughts, my communication, on various subjects. I wish to establish a network of learning. My intention is to transcribe into literature the importance of human comprehension and awareness. Further, the intention isn't just to teach, but to help individual humans self-teach and provide them learning tools that can help them in self-discovery. The network is intended to connect them to all these tools for self-development, and the community of people willing and able to support them in their growth, both as children and adults. I wish to address my suspicions with serious endeavor, with the assistance of serious endeavor. I have a lot of suspicions about an increasing number of topics. One method of addressing these suspicions would be to go to school and learn about the various topics connected to such suspicions. But I have far too many suspicions, and I simply don't have the lifetime necessary to address them. Instead, I hope to take advantage of the experiences and education of other people to address these suspicions of mine. I wish to have friends, companions, and lovers. I have been afraid of humans for a long time now, and I still am. However, while in the process of reaching my goal, I will need the support of others. Their skills and talents will be needed, yes, but I will need a number of them to address my own personal needs so that I may maintain my emotional and psychological stability over the years to come. At one time, I may have declared that I needed permanent isolation to maintain my stability, but the truth, as I suspect it to be, is that I merely needed times of isolation to meditate. Whether it was my thoughts, feelings, plans, precognitions, I needed time to assess these things before returning to social status. For friends and companions, this may seem comprehensible. For lovers, perhaps not so much. One may very well be enough, but I have a suspicion that suggests the contrary. My meditation can be intense and very distracting from other life experiences. It has been my understanding that lifetime partners will be there for each other at all times, regardless of condition. And based on my own experiences, I can't guarantee support to my partners during that experience. It's been one of the reasons that I refused myself the option of having partnership. But my loneliness and high libido, heavily channeled and secreted for years by fear, are now starting to take hold of me, and they need to be addressed. It may be too much of a burden for one person to hold the role of my partner, and I believe that burden to be far crueler than the consequences of a multi-partner relationship. Not wanting to cause heartache and not wanting to be alone for the rest of my life, I made some considerations. It is important that my partners not only love me, but love each other. That in my emotional, psychological, physical, and even sexual absence, my partners can rely on each other for support, safety, and various needs. If I am to be loved, I don't just want a safe environment for myself, but for my partners as well. For the time being, this is my transcription of where I am going. But it may not be clear why I'm going there. Why do I wish to resolve miscommunication? Why build an empire of sorts? Why investigate suspicions? Why do I seek not to be alone, potentially at the expense of others? I may have an answer, but it may not be clear as to how it answers the questions. Regardless, this is my answer. I had a precognition in my younger years, and it was written as a short story mentioned in the Who I Am channel upload. I had come to believe that humans, represented as statues, were killing each other, and that conflicts, represented as creatures, were positioning to subjugate them. This is your fight alone. What did that mean? I began to consider something I never dared consider before, out loud at least. What if I'm seeing, hearing, sensing something that no one else is? Maybe others can sense it, but they are too preoccupied with these conflicts. Or the ones that have the capacity to sense it, like me, keep dying, either because they are too scared and hateful of humanity to continue living, or because they never reached maturity, since to them, life is just suffering and not worth its upkeep. Maybe finding and identifying humanity's fights is a task that I must take on. But fighting those fights alone is beyond me. I will need the assistance of my fellow humans, as tumultuous as our relationships have been, to start and continue the fights until a better position of stability has been reached. This is the beginning of a war against all fears. This is where I'm going. Forever forward we march. This is GD signing off. Until next time.